Maine. And looking for our notification that we are live, gathering people up, and please say hello, comment in the box below, hello. And Dana is just getting ready. I'm Helena.
Right.
And
A few little technical difficulties there, but we're good. All right. Let's
we are live, Dana.
we are live. Excellent. All right, let's start this recording because this is a very fabulous topic. Welcome to episode 40 of the Emotion Code Divas. Today we have a very, very special topic. It's one that comes up almost always when we're working with clients, regardless of what they've come to us for. So we're going to be talking about from Dr. Bradley's book, The Heartwall. And Dr. Brad has dedicated a whole chapter to it. So it's chapter 7. If you have the book, lots of good information, lots of good case studies. So just before we get into that, I'll just give you say hello. My name is Dana J. Smithers. I'm a certified emotion code diva. They don't certify us for that, but Helena and I certified ourselves for that one. Yes, so I'm also a certified law of attraction life coach, and I'm also a Reiki practitioner now. I've been going through some courses and have some certification, and I work on animals and their guardians because it's all about the heart walls, right? The relationships people have with their animals, et cetera, et cetera. So we will get going shortly. Helena is just going to introduce herself, and I understand we have a participant today, so that's just great. And our shows are intended to educate, inspire, and we always heal and release some trapped emotions around one of our viewers. So let's just jump into it. Helena, that's me, the other emotion code diva, Helena Jehnichen.
Thank you very much. Yes, I'm Helena Jehnichen. I'm a certified emotion code practitioner as well as a certified clinical hypnotherapist. I have an office on Vancouver Island where I see clients personally. I specialize in something that's really dear to my heart, and that is helping people stop smoking. It is the number one thing a person can do for their health, their well-being, is to stop smoking. And I specialize in that. And during the hypnosis session, I always use the emotion code process. It's very effective. I also see clients online via video. So that is me, Dana, certified clinical hypnotherapist and emotion code practitioner in Canada. It's all different today, isn't it, Dana?
Yes, it is. My phone is slow to pick up. Yeah, so Helena just said, in Canada, we're kind of making a joke here, our clients in the States, but we have clients all over the world. That's a beautiful thing about the work that Helena and I do, is that emotion code can be done anywhere. We can do distance emotion code. We'll talk about how we become a proxy with a person. And yeah, clients all over the world just looking for, in this case, when we're talking about Heartwall, they're either not receiving love or they're not able to give love. And so the relationship that they have is not really as full and as happy and as rewarding and nurturing as it can be between two, independent people, but they become interdependent. So we're not talking about codependency with the heart wall here, but those things can often come up when we're doing a session as well. So Helena, why don't we just go ahead and jump right in? Although I've got a testimonial here, which usually we do them a little bit later, but this one's good. Kelly May just posted this. She said, I have to share. Okay, good. We like that. So she said, Helena did my heart wall on the show a while back, and all I can say is, wow. My heart wall was 5 miles wide with thorny roses wrapped around it. As she was working and removing many emotions, I had a tingling sensation throughout my body and felt so light afterwards. I can't explain it, but it's made a huge difference on me. I recommend anyone who hasn't experienced an emotion code before to step up and volunteer. And of course, we have that volunteer today with us. But what Kelly May is talking about, well, what do you mean thorns and what are walls and things like that? So I'm going to get into that with you. But first of all, let's just, what we like to do, because we know we have a lot of first-time viewers, is just go through the key steps to conducting an emotion code session. So whether you're following along and working through Dr. Bradley's books, we hope that what we show you does help you to understand the process and how it's non-invasive, holistic healing that we're providing, possibly along with some medical care that you're getting, because they're very, very good complements to one another. So Helena, the first thing that we do, I'm going to hold the card up, is ask for permission. So you've talked with someone about today's show.
That's right. So actually the way I've communicated with her today is through Facebook Messenger. And she's a friend of mine and on Facebook and in person. And I asked her for permission to work on her today, tapping into her energetically. And she said yes.
That's just great. So, all right. So she said yes. Now the next thing is to become her proxy. So how do you do that in your physical body?
So what I do is I ask to become her energetically, so I can ask her subconscious mind directly questions, yes or no questions. So with the permission, I ask the person if I can become them energetically, and therefore just become them. It's really cool. So I can ask her subconscious mind on her her behalf.
Right, and it's so important when we become the proxy. As I mentioned, that I'm a Reiki practitioner as well. In Reiki, I can become the proxy, but I can become a surrogate. I can use surrogates such as teddy bears, or I have a lot of stuffed dogs that I work with now. Or I can also just have a picture of the person or the animal. So, oftentimes Helena and I have never even met the person, or we may never even speak to them. So we have to become their proxy, where we can substitute, we become them. It's basically a substitution for having that person here. And then the next thing we ask, I don't know what her severity is today. Helena, did she give that to you?
Actually, a couple of days ago, we were chatting online, and she's having quite the difficult time right now, physically and emotionally. And so I'm going to check with her subconscious mind to see what it is between 1 and 10. And I'm looking to lower that number today and perhaps even get it down to a 0. So she's feeling better while releasing the Heartwall.
Right. And how are we going to do that, Helena? I think we have to do something called muscle testing.
Muscle testing. Yeah, muscle testing. So the muscle testing that I use is I have an agreement with my subconscious mind that when I link these two fingers together like this, and I think of the word yes, they lock together. And when I think of the word no, they just pull apart. So when I become her proxy, I can ask her subconscious mind directly about, first of all, the question is the severity. And then I'll get a number, 1 through 10. And that will be locked on the number. And later on, I'll be asking if there's trapped emotions. Yes, that's right. And then I can start to release them. It's really cool.
And when we work with that heart wall, what's another little question that we sometimes have to ask?
Well, I like to ask if there's a hidden heart wall. So
why would someone hide it?
Because everything's just fine, Jen.
Yeah, I realize too. Yeah, we're good. Yeah, right. Well, we don't talk much, but no, it's all good, right? Yeah. Because it's emotions, right? We're going to go into that heart chakra, and we're going to go into the sacral chakra, where all those feelings are as well, and start releasing those. And some people just don't realize. Helena and I we actually had a conversation yesterday just saying out loud, was Helena's birthday on the 14th. So if you want to wish her happy birthday, go ahead. But we were talking, we were having lunch yesterday, just talking about how Helena works with weight loss, and she has a fabulous program or weight release with that. And I do emotion code. I have a weight release program, but we always uncover that it's never really about the weight, right? It starts with that, but because we do a number of sessions, 3 or 4 sessions, we're working on a different program, and it always, bottom line, it's always about relationships.
Yep.
So it can be relationship with self, it can be relationship with a partner, it could be relationship with a friend, it could be a relationship, woman I'm working with, it's relationship with her employees. So, the heart is very tender. And, we want to find ways to cover that up. And that's what we'll be talking about today. Okay, so muscle testing for me. You can check out the ones in Dr. Brad's book as well. This works for me. I just tell my subconscious, index and thumb together. These other 2 fingers on the other hand. This is a yes, and that's a no for me. So Helena and I go through these 60 emotions that Dr. Brad has put together, gone down from thousands and hundreds to now something that's manageable, that really does cover all of the emotions. So we're going to take a look at how do we use this, Helena?
Excellent. So what I'll be doing is I'll be asking, are there any negative trapped emotions that I can release today? Get an answer, yes. And then I'll be asking if it's in column A or column B, and then if it's in an odd row or an even row. And when I get that answer, then there's 5 emotions in that particular quadrant. And I'll then individually ask, is it this one, or that one? And then release the emotion.
Right. And how do we release those emotions?
We release the emotions with energy. We release energy with energy. And the energy that I'm using today is magnets. So we use magnets, magnetic power. And what you'll see me doing is holding the magnets in my hand and then doing this sort of swiping motion. And what I'm doing is 3 times if it belongs to them and 10 times if it's inherited. But I'm running it down my governing meridian. In acupuncture, Chinese medicine, they talk about the different energy meridians in the body. And the governing meridian starts underneath the nose here and goes all the way to the tip of the tailbone. So by doing this action, wiping it away, canceling it, neutralizing the emotion, so it doesn't go back into the physical system, it just dissipates.
Right. And what do you mean by inherited emotions? How can someone inherit an emotion, and who would they inherit it from?
Well, they would inherit it from either their mother, their father, or maybe their grandparents, or maybe even further back. I've had it gone back, the emotion being passed down from one generation to another generation of 14 times.
Wow.
14 generations. And what's wonderful is that emotion is released from those generations and any other generation that you may have passed it down to. So if you've got children and you may have passed that emotion down to them, it's gone from them as well.
Excellent. Great. Thank you. And one thing that's super important for not only the practitioner, but also the client when we're working them is to be
hydrated.
Exactly. Yeah. So Helena and I drink a lot of water in the day. Actually, this is really good for weight release too, but
yeah. It really, water in the day-to-day life is very good for mental clarity. If you ever come up with a part in your life where you're just feeling a little stuck or stubborn or just not clear, go have a glass of water. It does miracles.
Yeah, it really does flush out the system, right? And energetically, it's a great conduit of moving energy and toxins through your body. So it's super important to do that all the time.
Yeah.
So Helena, I see that we've got Natasha.
Yeah.
Sorry?
We got Natasha watching today. Hello,
and we've
Natasha.
got a damp Rumford Essex today. So here in where we are, Helena's on the island, but you're on the mainland today. Yeah. Actually, we're close together physically today. Glorious.
Yes.
Fall day. It's going to be about 17 Celsius, which is beautiful. The leaves are stunning this fall because we haven't had the usual rain that we get. Often the rain comes, just like in Rumford, Essex, yeah, and washes stuff away, but it's absolutely fantastic right now. So Helena, you're going to go ahead and work on
Her name is Gail.
Gail, okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
All right, and I'm just going to talk a little bit about the Heartwall and refer a little bit to Dr. Bradley's book here. So why don't you go ahead and do that, and we'll just say hello to Mindy Host is watching as well. So thanks so much. Lovely to hear from all of our viewers, and you know, feel free to share this. So I'm going to jump right in and talk about the Heartwall. So the way Dr. Brad describes the Heartwall is, in our subconscious, we have found ways to literally protect our heart. And in his book, it's chapter 7, as I said, he talks about the different materials that our subconscious can make up to protect our heart. So it can be, you know, usually when we're doing a session, we're asking the question, is the Heartwall made of metal? So if I get a no, then I say, is it made of concrete? I might get a no. I might ask, is it made of paper? And I might get a yes on that. Now that can seem really odd, but our subconscious puts whatever it needs and whatever it subconsciously feels will protect us. So for some, paper might seem very foolish, but there's a reason. If you've chosen paper, actually paper is pretty solid. If you've ever taken a bunch of papers and just tried to rip them up, it's amazing how it just doesn't happen. So somebody can have even something like paper, or in the case of Kelly May, you know, roses and thorns. So people can't get in, right? We want to protect the heart. So the heart wall that we're building in the subconscious, again, we have a massive imagination in our subconscious, can be a few feet thick, but it can also be miles thick. So what we do when we're doing a session, we ask the question, how thick is it? So I might say, can it be measured in feet? And if I get a no, then I'll say, can it be measured in miles? And if I get a miles, I usually start with something like, I'll say, is it 1 mile, 2, 3, 4? So there I've got a yes, and I'm working at a 4. And so I'll start to ask the questions. Can I remove the emotions in the heart wall? And if I get a no, then I can ask the other question, can I remove the emotions that are in the hidden heart wall? And if I get a yes on that, then that's a bingo, and I can go ahead and start. And I ask the question, what's it made of? And then what will happen as we go through the questions, we ask typical emotion code questions, things like, is it, let's say we're working with someone that wants to have a relationship with a partner. So a little bit more romantic relationship. So we'll ask the question, is it safe to have, we're asking the subconscious, right? We're the proxy. So we're saying, is it safe to have a relationship? So if we get a no, then the next question we would ask, is it, what are the trapped emotions that I need to release that will make it safe? So then we'll just go through our column A and our column B and our even or odd row, and then we'll individually ask the 5, and then we'll release that. And then when we're doing it, if that response that comes up is, I'm asking the question, can I release it now? And I get a no, then that's where we're going to ask more questions. So we're going to ask somebody, we're going to know what that person's age is, and we'll find out where that heart wall went up, what emotions got trapped in it, and when. So we're looking for an age, and I haven't had it happen very often, but I have had some past life times come up for people. I've often had it in conception, where perhaps that child that's being born maybe was an unwanted or unexpected child. I mean, remember, these trapped emotions, they can start from the size of a lemon, but if they are never taken care of and never released, they can become bigger. This is why people get heart disease. People have heart attacks, right? emotionally, emotions are being attacked in the heart. So this is why it's so important to release that heart wall. And this is why it's so interesting that when we're working with people, regardless of what we're working on, many times we'll ask that question, is there a heart wall or is there a hidden heart wall? And that will come up, so we have to work through that. So in Dr. Brad's book, he gives a lot of, he's got a lot of information and case studies about it. But what I found really interesting in here is I just want to read you something about what he said about the heart brain. So he says, your heart generates 60 to 1,000 times more power and electromagnetic energy than your brain, easily making it the most powerful organ in your body. When you were in the womb, your heart was formed first before your brain. So think of that. These are all the emotions that are starting. Your heart beats about 100,000 times a day, 40 million times a year, and if its connection to your brain were severed, it would keep right on beating. So the fact is, he says, that we have two brains. Much to scientists' surprise, they discovered that the brain in our heads obeys the messages sent from the brains in our heart. So that is why oftentimes people will say, well, my heart, I don't feel that in my heart, or I don't think that in my heart. And that's because you actually have a brain in your heart. And when we talk about the body-mind connection, we're talking about what's going on in the brain with what's going on with other organs in your body. And that's why we have that heart-brain connection. Sometimes you'll say, well, I know it's in your brain, you're saying it's not, I know it's not the right thing to do. I should maybe end this relationship. But in your heart, you just feel so attached to this person. So this is where the heart wall can release a lot of those emotions that are giving you this conflict, and you can get the clarity and the release that you need to move forward and have the type of relationship that you want to have. So if you want to know more about that, you can definitely go to either my website or Helena's website. I know I have quite a bit on the heart wall, but there's a lot of information in Dr. Bradley's book about the heart wall. So Helena, it looks like you're finished there.
Yeah. It's when I do the heart wall, because we tap into the person energetically, I feel a lot. I can just
Yes,
sense a lot.
and Helena, I'm so glad you said that, because oftentimes when someone is really open and ready to release, I can just start crying with them. I remember I've gone through episodes where young women were raped or sexually abused, and it just deeply affects us. And that's because it's such a precious part of our body, right? Our heart, that's why we protect it, right?
That's
Yeah,
right.
so I'm glad that you mentioned that. Yeah.
Yes. So I asked if Gail had a heart wall. Yes, and as I was doing that, I had an image of gauze, like material, just
Okay.
wrapped around her, almost like a mummy
Yep.
that was preventing her to freely
Ah,
move. When I asked how thick it was 12 feet thick.
wow.
And then the very first emotion that came up was pride.
Hmm.
And and so that's pride is false pride. It's like, yeah, everything's okay. Isn't that what we just said? And
I
to
don't need
release,
any help. I'm fine.
that's right, that's right. And so then the second emotion was pride again, but
Mhm.
this time it was absorbed by someone else. And so taking on other people's I'm okay as well. So I released that, overwhelm, and I couldn't release that till I found out the age of when the overwhelm got trapped in the physical system around
Okay.
the age of 55. And after that, then low self-esteem, and then it was like done. I thought, let me just check if there's a,
That's pretty quick because Heartwalls usually take more sessions than that. Yeah.
exactly. So then I said, okay, well, do I have a hidden heart wall? Yes. There was failure that got trapped, and then the thing that happened was then there was an inherited emotion of inherited from her mother, directly from her mother, a sense of worthlessness. And and at that point, then I asked if I had a heart wall still, and it said yes, and I remeasured it so it got down to 3 feet, and it said that's it.
Yeah.
Now remember, we sometimes we talk about processing. I'm not sure if you talked about processing, but um, there is processing. So we want this to be gentle
Yes.
for people, and so it just sort of said stop. I just got a sense to stop at 3 feet. And then I came back online, and then again I got the sense to just check back in, and it just actually released a couple more, so we're down to a foot thick, and we're good for that right now.
Yeah.
And I'll be checking in with Gail later, and just checking with her, and I'm going to be doing a little bit more work with her because, as you said, it takes more than just a few minutes to release a heart wall. And hidden heart wall, we just want to make sure that it's all taken care of. I want to make sure that's all taken care of.
Yeah, exactly. So, once that heart wall is released, it doesn't mean that you're never going to have other episodes in your life of wanting to put a barricade around your heart so you either can't receive or give love. And that's why it's so good. If you really notice in your life, you're mindful, my relationships really aren't the best. I think I'd like to do better. That because then you're letting the universe know that, hey, I'm ready to do something, and you're open. And that is when changes can be made, right? First of all, we have to acknowledge it and then accept it. And the processing, I think, is so important with this heart well because the heart is very tender, right? I mean, we know it, we talk about it. There's millions and millions of songs and poems and stories about the heart. And so from even from our culture, right, we talk about the tenderness of the heart, and it really does need to be attended to because it can affect everything in your life. Everything in life is about relationships anyway, but the processing, just be gentle with yourself, let it take time. And Helena and I never know what that processing is going to look like for a person. Some people automatically just feel like, wow, that always people feel lighter. Yeah. But how much of that is released is up to the individual's processing as well.
Yeah, I'd like to recommend for people after a session to take a bath with lots of Epsom salts or a foot bath with Epsom salts. The other thing too is sometimes people feel like they want a nap and they want to just have a deep relaxing nap. It just seems to be a very common thing. Yeah.
Yeah, and sometimes for other people, if the weather's good, get out, go in nature, just sit, just be, right? You don't have to do anything, just be, just, soak in the beauty and see the positive energy, feel it all around you and just be. You don't have to do anything, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, Helena, I think we've got a few people that we can say hi to. There's a friend of mine, Angela McKinnon. Haven't talked to Angela for quite a while. She is a fabulous interior designer and home stager and world traveler. She's always off in Paris or somewhere looking at decor for her clients. She lives back east. So thanks for watching, Angela. And what is Kelly Reed's got something to say there? Can you see that one, Helena?
I don't see that one, but I do see Karen Linder Trussell. Do you know Karen?
I don't.
Oh, she says, good morning, Dana. Relationships.
Oh, yes. I know Carol. Karen,
we'll work on memory later. We'll work on memory on another show.
That's right. She said, relationships have always been a challenge for me. I'm working on releasing mother issues. She's passed on, and our dynamic has followed me throughout my adult relationships. Absolutely. Relationships, that we're going to have with someone else. I mean, our mother and father are so important in our life and how they gave love to us and how we received it. And, you know, mothers and daughters, I've worked a lot with mothers and daughters actually, but I can't work on a daughter for a mother. So, you know, we're always doing people separately, but, you know, those relationships, again, a lot can be passed down from our parents as well, and from our mothers. Absolutely. So that's a big dynamic that goes on there for sure.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So that was really, really very good. I'm looking forward to checking in with Gail later today and just continuing doing a little bit more work, seeing how she's feeling. I've worked with Gail in the past on different blocks, emotional sort of business blocks.
Yeah.
And she's found it really very effective.
Yeah, absolutely. That's great. And so next week's show is episode 41. So we'll be looking for a viewer if you'd like to have a complimentary emotion code session. So next week is writer's block. And so if you are, you know, a full-fledged writer, that's great. It's funny, I'm reading a book right now, and she's supposed to be writing a book, but she's got writer's block. So it's kind of funny. I guess I could work on her, right? But I think, you know, you hear it all the time. Actual writers, professional writers have writer's block. But we'll be looking for someone, even often when I've been doing more business coaching, the entrepreneurs I'm working with have a really hard time writing their own marketing materials, writing their own text. So it's often hard for people to write about themselves or their story, or even get the right marketing message across. So if that's you, please step up and we'll help you with that. So yes, it could be, it doesn't have to be, we're not necessarily looking for a professional writer, but if you are a professional writer, let us know and we will do a session here for you. So Helena, how can people get a hold of you?
People can get a hold of me through my website, which is flourishhypnosis.com/emotion-code. I have a Facebook page, Flourish Hypnosis, as well as a YouTube channel, Flourish Hypnosis and Helena Jehnichen.
Right, thanks. And just on this page, the TEC Divas, on our Facebook page here, I had done a show with, I used to be on Michael Lozzi's Friday shows for many, many years, which I loved. And Michael invited Dr. Bradley Nelson, the author of this book, on 2 of the shows. So I posted one of them. We talked about the Heartwall. So Dr. Brad is there. It's in on this page as well. So have a listen to that. You can find me at danasmithers.com/emotion-code. Also, I have my own YouTube channel, which is under Empowered Women in Business. Yeah, lots of good, got several different playlists there that you can enjoy, and we always post these videos as well. So we would love for you to share this if you've enjoyed the show this morning. We're here every Wednesday, live, the Emotion Code Divas. So yeah, have yourselves an enjoyable week. And again, if anyone has a little bit of writer's block, let us know. You can either leave a message on this page or PM Helena or myself. Bye for now.
Bye.